The Krathax Empire had ruled the Outer Rim for 3,000 cycles. Their military doctrine was simple: demand submission, and if refused, demonstrate overwhelming force until compliance was achieved. It had worked on 47 species across 12 sectors. They had never lost a war. Then they met humanity. Commander Zekthor stood on the bridge of the Imperial Dreadnought Eternal Dominion, watching Earth's blue marble rotate peacefully below. The humans had been given the standard ultimatum 3 solar rotations ago: bend the knee or face annihilation. Their response had been unusual. They had laughed. "Admiral," his communications officer chittered nervously, "the humans are broadcasting again." "Let me hear it," Zekthor growled. His 4 eyes narrowing, a human face appeared on screen, wearing what their database identified as a military uniform. The human smiled, but there was something predatory in it that made Zekthor's scales prickle. "This is General Sarah Martinez of the United Earth Defense Force. We've reviewed your demands. Our answer remains no. If you want war, we'll give you war. But I should warn you, we've been practicing on each other for 10,000 years. We're really good at it." Zekthor clicked his mandibles in amusement. "They threaten us with their primitive weapons. Begin the invasion. I want their capitals burning by nightfall." The invasion lasted 6 hours. Not because humanity surrendered, but because that's how long it took for the humans to systematically dismantle the greatest military force in the sector. The Krathax had superior shields, stronger armor, and more powerful weapons. What they didn't have was humanity's terrifying creativity in finding ways to kill. The first wave of dropships encountered what humans called kinetic mines, simple chunks of metal accelerated to relativistic speeds. No energy signature to track, no warning, just instant obliteration. Half the invasion force was destroyed before they reached the atmosphere. The second wave met Earth's fighter craft, tiny vessels that fought with a recklessness that defied all military logic. Krathax pilots were trained to preserve their ships and retreat when damaged. Human pilots rammed their fighters into Krathax cruisers when their weapons ran dry, screaming something about Valhalla over open channels. The third wave never had a chance. Humanity had apparently been building something in secret, hidden beneath their oceans. The Krathax fleet watched in horror as the seas themselves seemed to rise up. Hundreds of submarine-launched missiles creating a wall of fire that consumed everything in orbit. Commander Zekthor found himself aboard one of the few surviving ships, retreating toward the edge of the system. But the humans weren't done. They pursued relentlessly, their weapons growing more savage with each engagement. They used nuclear weapons as point defense systems. They hacked into Krathax computers and played something called heavy metal, at volumes that made the crew's auditory organs bleed. When Zekthor's ship was finally disabled, he expected immediate destruction. Instead, a boarding party breached the hull. They moved through the ship like liquid death, clearing each corridor with brutal efficiency. When they reached the bridge, Zekthor drew himself up to his full 3-meter height and prepared to die with honor. "Commander Zekthor," the lead human said, her weapon never wavering, "we have a message for your emperor." "I will die before I betray my—" "We're not asking you to betray anyone," she interrupted. "We're telling you to deliver a message. We know where your homeworld is. We know where your emperor sits on his throne, and we're coming for him." They let him go. They actually let him go, with one functioning ship and enough fuel to reach Krathax Prime. Zekthor fled, warning bells screaming in his mind. This wasn't mercy. This was a message. Emperor Vokrath received Zekthor's report with disbelief that quickly turned to rage. The idea that these primitives would threaten him in his palace on the most defended world in the Empire was beyond insulting. "Let them come," he snarled. "We will crush them here and make an example that will echo across the galaxy." The humans arrived 3 weeks later. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't demand surrender. They simply appeared at the edge of the system with a fleet that made the Krathax Armada look like a training squadron. Where had they been hiding this many ships? The answer the Krathax would later learn with horror was that every human civilian vessel could be converted into a warship within hours. Freighters became carriers. Passenger liners became troop transports. Even civilian shuttles were rigged with explosives and used as precision-guided missiles. The Battle of Krathax Prime lasted 3 days. The orbital defenses that had never been breached in recorded history fell in the first hour. The planetary shields that could withstand the energy output of a small star were bypassed by human marines, who simply dug tunnels beneath them. And then the humans did something unprecedented in modern warfare. They landed troops in the capital city, not to occupy it, not to hold strategic positions. They landed with one objective: the Imperial Palace. Emperor Vokrath watched from his throne room as the humans carved a path through his elite guards. He heard the explosions getting closer, felt the vibrations through the palace floor. When his final line of defense fell, he stood and faced the doorway, mandibles spread in defiance. The human who entered wasn't wearing armor. She was covered in dust and blood, some of it probably hers, and carrying a rifle that looked like it had been through a war. She probably thought it made her look intimidating. "I am Emperor Vokrath, ruler of—" "We know who you are," General Martinez said. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk out of this palace through the streets of your capital, and you're going to surrender to your people. Not to us, to them. I will never. Then we'll drag you. Your choice." Vokrath chose defiance. The humans chose to drag him. The holovids from that day spread across the galaxy at faster than light speeds. The mighty emperor of the Krathax, stripped of his ceremonial armor, being dragged through the streets of his own capital by human soldiers. No execution, no imprisonment, just humiliation, complete and absolute. But that wasn't the message that terrified the watching galaxy. The message was what General Martinez said when she stood before the Galactic Council 3 weeks later, with Emperor Vokrath kneeling beside her. "We didn't come to conquer the Krathax," she said calmly. "We came to make a point. You can coexist with humanity, or you can go to war with humanity. But if you choose war, understand this. We don't fight for territory or resources or glory. We fight to win, and we will do whatever it takes. We've spent our entire history perfecting the art of killing each other. Imagine what we can do when we're united against a common enemy." She let that sink in for a moment, then added, "The Krathax demanded war. We gave them exactly what they asked for. Anyone else want to make demands?" The council chamber was silent. Emperor Vokrath, from his kneeling position, spoke for the first time since his capture. "They are monsters," he whispered. "Efficient, creative, ruthless monsters." General Martinez looked down at him. "No," she said quietly. "We're just human. And that should scare you more than anything else in this galaxy." The Krathax Empire sued for peace the next day. The war had lasted 4 weeks, start to finish. Humanity had proven a point that would echo through galactic history. Some species evolved to rule, some to explore, some to create. Humanity evolved to survive. And they were very, very good at it.